Hi everyone, it's Shannon. We're playing with the world and I am out playing with the world right now. I am in beautiful St. Lucia. It's such an amazing place here. I'm gonna give you a tour. I'm at Redwee Beach before I get into today's message because you have to see this beautiful, beautiful island and this beautiful beach that I'm on. This is Redwee Beach, one of the best beaches here in St. Lucia. And it's interesting because today's message is really relevant to being in St. Lucia. I'm here today and I'm traveling and having a great time. And several years ago, I left corporate and decided to really become a travel writer. And in doing that, my very first travel writing assignment was actually here to St. Lucia. Literally, St. Lucia was my first awesome experience in exploring the world and playing with the world on massive levels. So today's message is going to tie back to my own journey on how I left corporate so I can help you make the right decision for your life. What does that mean? Well, today I want you to consider if you're in a position where you're wondering if you should stay or go. Is it time to quit or commit? Here's what happens. We have these goals and these things and we're feeling stuck in life. Maybe you want to leave the job that you hate. Maybe you're in a relationship and you just really don't like it anymore. It's not serving you. You don't want to be there, but you're wondering if you should keep trying to make it work or is it really time to stop and just let go. So today I actually have 3 questions that you must ask yourself before you really realize if it's really the right time to go. So for me, when I very first left corporate, I asked myself these 3 questions, and I'm going to take you through the process, and that's how I knew that I was able to be ready. And lo and behold, when I asked these 3 questions and I had the answers that were guided and right for me, I became a travel writer much more efficiently because I wasn't holding on to old baggage. That's what we're going to talk about today. So think about if you're ready to quit or commit, and what does that mean for you? Think about, is it time for you to stay or should you go? Think about a situation in your life and apply these questions to it. The very first question is you want to ask yourself if leaving or quitting feels expansive. Or you can flip it and say if I stay in this situation, is it going to make me feel expansive? Chances are you want to leave a situation because it's not working for you. I wanted to leave corporate because it wasn't expansive. I felt restricted, I felt stuck, I was crying in the bathroom at work on work days. It was a horrible experience. And in doing this, I realized that it's no longer something that brings me any joy whatsoever. Now, I asked myself, does it feel expansive to leave? And the thought of leaving corporate was so joy-filled and so expansive that I had no choice but to leave. And at first I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And that leads us into the following process and the next questions you want to ask yourself. So the second question that you want to ask yourself is, am I running away from something or am I running to something? When I very first left corporate, I admit I was running away. I hated corporate, it was just suffocating my soul, and I was running away. And when we run away from something without running to something specific, we often fail, we make mistakes, and we fall back into old patterns, which is exactly what happened to me. I personally, when I very first left corporate, I was running away. I was like, I can't take it, I quit, I'm leaving. And then lo and behold, 6 months later, I was out of money, I didn't know what I wanted, and I was like, crap. And I fell right back into corporate and took some jobs again. Now this was before I started to get clear about what I needed to be running to. And so that expansive feeling will go away if you don't have something you're running to. If you're feeling like you're running away from something but you're not directing your energy or intention to something specific, then you will fall flat on your face. So to help you through this, focus on what you're running to. So it wasn't until I started to say, okay, well I know corporate's not working, I need to really ask myself, what is it that I want? And that's when I started to explore and travel and realize that travel writing and being an author and being a life coach is something that makes me so fulfilled beyond my wildest dreams. So therefore I started to be running to something. And in running to something, things started happening faster. Literally, after I got clear about what I was doing, within 6 months, I kid you not, it was actually 4 months from the time I left the crappy job that I re-entered into the biz, that I was called on my first travel writing assignment to come here to St. Lucia. Literally, that's how fast it can happen when you put this process into play. So your dreams can come true. And if you're feeling like, I don't know if I should quit or commit because I don't know exactly what's going to happen, well, recognize that as soon as you ask yourself, what am I running to? What is it that's jazzing me up about the future? Then things fall into place for you. So try that out. And then the third one that I really want to ask you is to ask yourself before you leave any situation ever, whether it's a relationship, a job, you want to move to a new state, ask yourself, is there unfinished business? Unfinished business is something that keeps us in the patterns. It keeps us falling back into things that aren't really working. So for me, when I very first left corporate, had unfinished business. I left and I was feeling really frustrated and I was like, this sucks. I hate the industry. I'm so depressed. And lo and behold, I immediately fell back into going back into corporate because there was unfinished business. The universe is always going to give you the lesson again and again and again until you really get what it is you need to learn. So my unfinished business was about leaving the industry and being thankful and appreciative for what I had experienced in marketing and advertising. And once I did that, once I turned my hate and my animosity and all of the feelings of this sucks, I can't believe it, my life is off track. Once I realized my life is not off track, everything I went through is part of a bigger plan. All of the things I experienced, advertising in itself is actually one of the coolest things in the world because it helped me become who I am. That's a much more joyful place, and that is how the business is finished. So look at a situation that you might be running away from, a relationship, a job, something that you're really feeling frustrated about, and turn it into gratitude. Can you appreciate what you've been through? Can you appreciate that experience? And as you do that, you will start to see things fall into place much easier for you. This is something that you can try anytime you want. Just put these 3 steps into play. Again, today we're in beautiful St. Lucia and we're talking about how you can really make the right decision for you, how to know when it's time to stay or go. And you ask yourself, does it feel expansive? And if the answer is yes, to leave, you know it's time to go. You know it's time to keep going on that dream. And then you ask yourself, am I running away from something or running to something? And when you're running to something, you feel more joyful and more aligned. And then the third and final one is to make sure that there is no unfinished business. Because if there's business in your life that's unfinished, it's going to keep you in that pattern. So again, guys, thanks so much for playing with the world. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad we get to love life to the fullest together. I'm going to show you a little bit of the tour again. Enjoy Redweed Beach here in St. Lucia. Playing with the world. Have fun playing with the world this week.